How's everyone doing? Welcome back to On The Ball. Welcome back to another episode of Premier League predictions, where me and my brother go head to head in predicting Premier League outcomes. As you can see, the scores on the doors are 161 to Sim, 154 to me. And the way the scoring works, it's 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result in the star man, which at the end of the episode, we pick one star man each. And once you pick that man, you can't pick them for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. And let's get into the weekend's action. Starting off at Molineux, it's Wolves against Tottenham Hotspur. Sim has gone for 1-0 to Spurs. I've gone for 2-1 to Spurs, but why 1-0?
I know we Spurs have a lot of injuries at the moment, and especially in the backline. Their backline has been decimated, and you would think that would probably cost us in the back. And to be fair, it might do, but I think just with Wolves out Pedro Neto, who's pretty much been there. I mean, I know Hwang's also been fantastic for Wolves, but Pedro Neto's like just been a shining light for them in terms of how he carries that attack with his dribbling ability. Without him, it's been neutered quite a bit. We saw that, I thought, against Sheffield United last week. So I think Tottenham, we saw Wolves beat Man City a few weeks ago with a really strong defensive display, so I don't think it's going to be an easy game for Tottenham, but I do anticipate Tottenham to dominate possession. I don't anticipate Wolves to be able to be as much as a threat on the counter without Neto, and I do think Tottenham should find a moment to get on the score sheet and win 1-0. So I'd see it being maybe a bit of a frustrating game for Spurs, but I just see them getting over the line, and I think even with the makeshift defence, I think we should be able to keep out Wolves 1-0.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I think with the makeshift defence, it worries me massively. We've heard Porro didn't train, hasn't been training. We know that Van de Ven's out. We know that Romero's out. We know that Udogi's out. So pretty much our complete back four could be out for this game. We're not too sure on Pedro Porro just yet, but the other three are most definitely out. So I have no idea what kind of defence Spurs are going to play on the weekend, and I think we will suffer for that, and I think Wolves can get a goal, but I do trust our team and trust Ange Postecoglou that we can get the job done against this Wolves team, so I'm going to go for 2-1, and I agree. I think it's going to be a frustrating day with the injuries and suspensions that we do have, but I think we will concede with the situation that we're in at the moment. So I'm going 2-1. My brother's going 1-0. Both Spurs wins. Let's move on to the Emirates. And we've both gone for smashing Arsenal victories. Sim's gone for 5-0. I've gone for 4-0. And this Burnley side are just getting beat week in, week out at the moment. They can't seem to defend for love nor money. Very, very naive team with Vincent Kompany at the wheel. Arsenal, on the other hand, look, they've got unbelievable players going forward with the likes of Martinelli, Saka, Gabriel Jesus is out. But look, I think they've got more than enough to go and absolutely batter this Burnley side, and I can't see anything else.
Yeah, Burnley aren't a team who, if they need to, can sit deep and defend and soak up pressure. They've shown themselves not to be adept at doing that, and that's not their game. And when they're open, they're not good enough to take the game to teams like Arsenal. They don't have the quality in the forward line to open up Arsenal and cause some problems. So I just can't see anything but a heavy one-way defeat. I think Arsenal obviously had a very morale-boosting victory in midweek against Sevilla. They played very well in that game off the back of 2 defeats in a row. So I'm sure they'll take that confidence into this game, and I can't see anything but a bit of a hiding for Burnley here.
Yeah. Next up is Crystal Palace against Everton. Sim has gone for 2-1 to Everton here.
Yeah, Everton have been all right away from home recently, beating the likes of Brentford and beating the likes of West Ham away from home. So I see a Crystal Palace team, albeit they did beat Burnley. Was it Burnley last week, 2-0, with Eze coming back into the fold as well. Potentially Olise coming back in this game, but given the fact that maybe they're still chasing full fitness, I don't see them look, they've got 2 great players, but I think Everton are very solid defensively. They're starting to turn around a bit of form. Calvert-Lewin's in very good form as well. And they've been quite good when they face 2 sides who like to play in a low block. Everton have actually been quite good in those scenarios. So I actually see them going to Crystal Palace and causing Palace a lot of trouble going forward. And I think they should have enough quality at the back to keep them out, albeit I do see them conceding 1 goal. But I've gone for a 2-1 win.
Yeah, I've gone for 0-0. I'm looking at this game, and you've got two sides who are very resolute defensively. Both of them are, and both Everton are having good things of it, a good form at the moment. Crystal Palace not so much, albeit they did get a win in their last game against Burnley, but everyone's beating Burnley at the moment. But I kind of feel like with the way these two both set up and they both play, just to cancel each other out and being quite a boring game of football. So I couldn't really split the sides, and I couldn't see the scoring, so I went for 0-0 at the end there, which is actually the same score as it was at Selhurst Park last season. Let's move on to Manchester United against Luton. Sim's gone for 3-0 to Manchester United. I've gone for 1-0. I think Luton are going to set up to frustrate Manchester United, a very poor Man United at the moment, on the back of a terrible defeat in the Champions League last night, 4-3 away at Copenhagen after Marcus Rashford got sent off. But I think with Man United, the way I kind of assess them at the moment is when they come up against any sort of quality, they're getting beat. But when they come up against teams which they're definitely better than, they find the moments of quality from individual moments where they go and win the game. And I think this will be another case of that, and they'll just about win 1-0.
Yeah, I think obviously Luton have done a lot better recently in terms of their level of performance and have been a bit more difficult to play against. But I can see an angry performance in this one for Man United after what happened in midweek. To be fair to them, albeit it was a terrible result, things did conspire against them. 2-0 up, playing very well. Rashford got sent off. Then they got back to 2-2, and then I thought they showed some good resolve, and got it to 3-2, and they were looking all right. And then again, things went against them. I think things are going very badly under Ten Hag. Don't get me wrong, but I can see this being a kind of defiant performance at Old Trafford, especially against potentially an opponent who's lacking a bit of quality right now. And Man United have more than enough quality in their team to take this game to Luton and dominate them. So, albeit I don't think it will have long-lasting ramifications for Man United, I think a convincing 3-0 win for this one.
Next up is Bournemouth against Newcastle. We've both gone for the exact same scoreline here in 2-0 to Newcastle. I think Newcastle are clearly on really good form at the moment. They've lost their last game to Dortmund, but they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Manchester United. They did only draw against Wolves in the previous game, but Bournemouth at the moment, apart from their win against Burnley, they're pretty much losing every single game. And this Newcastle side have real quality about them. Yes, they might be a bit tired from that away trip to Dortmund in midweek, but I don't think that's going to influence the result. And I think 2-0 to Newcastle.
Yeah, no Isaac or Wilson probably for this game, which is why I probably didn't go for more goals for Newcastle. But I think defensively they should have enough to keep out this Bournemouth team who, albeit they are being a bit more offensive this season, just haven't seemed to click going forward. And they're very, very open going the other way, given how they press and given how they leave spaces for the opposition. And Newcastle, even though they're missing their star strikers, I think they should have too much quality for Bournemouth and they should be able to exploit it. But I don't think it's going to be a rout, so I've only gone 2-0.
Next up is Aston Villa against Fulham at Villa Park. Sim's gone for 3-0. I've gone for 3-1. Why the clean sheet?
I've gone for the clean sheet because I just think Fulham are very bad when it comes to their forward line. I know Villa aren't keeping too many clean sheets right now, but I think they should have enough quality at the back line to keep out a Fulham side who are just struggling for goals and are really struggling in their forward line at the moment. They just look like they're not going to score most weeks, to be honest. I think a third of their goals this season came in a 3-1 home win against Sheffield United. So I think that goes to show how bad they've been going forward. They don't have any strikers who'll be able to put it in the back of the net. So I think Villa will going to have too much quality. Obviously, going forward as well, you've got Watkins and Diaby who are playing very well at the moment for Villa, albeit they do have Europa League, so maybe potentially a few tired legs in this one for Villa, but I just think I can see them getting the job done early, and I just can't see Fulham scoring, so I've gone 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict Fulham to score, to be honest, because that's how poor they are going forward. But Villa do seem to concede pretty much every single week, even against teams where you don't expect them to concede, like at home to Crystal Palace and stuff like that. But look, Fulham, I think they can find a goal by hook or by crook, at least one way, by a set piece or a breakaway or on the transition or something like that. But I think Villa are just going to be way too strong. If this was at Craven Cottage, I might have gone for a different scoreline. But at Villa Park, Villa is just so strong at Villa Park, and they're just scoring so many goals. So it might even be more than 3-1. But I do think it's going to be Villa to win and both teams to score. But I settled at 3-1 to Aston Villa. Next up is Brighton against Sheffield United. Sim gone for 1-0 to Brighton. I've gone for 3-0 to Brighton. And look, Brighton are not on good form at the moment, 100%. But coming up against a Sheffield United side, it's a perfect opportunity for them to get back onto form and to get back in the goals. And I think they'll do that. De Zerbi will have them drilled, and he'll definitely be screaming at them on the training ground of better things that they can do and better ways that they can attack, and especially defend as well, because their defence has just been terrible in recent weeks. And I think I don't think Sheffield United will have enough to trouble this Brighton side. So I've gone for a convincing scoreline of 3-0.
Yeah, I think Brighton will end their winless run in this game, but I don't see it being an easy one. Sheffield United will be buoyed by their first win of the season against Wolves last week, and that will give them confidence going into this one that they can really not take the game to Brighton, but frustrate Brighton, and maybe it can prove to them they can get results at this level. I think they're going to obviously set up in their 5 at the back system, looking to break away on Brighton, which could be the perfect system to counteract how Brighton play. But I just don't see them having the quality to hurt Brighton in their forward line. Even though Brighton aren't a very good defensive side, I can see them having chances, but I have a feeling they won't put them away. And then I think it's going to be a case of attack versus defense for a lot of this game. I think we've seen games with this season with Brighton where they've had like up to 80% possession, but I can see it being a very frustrating day, given that as well they're going to have Europe in midweek, maybe a few tired legs. I see them maybe struggling to be that sharp, energetic team that they can be on their day, but I think they will be able to break down Sheffield United eventually. So I've only gone 1-0.
And we go on to Anfield next as Liverpool face Brentford. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Liverpool. Quite a tight one.
Yeah, I think it's a tight one. Brentford on really good form, 3 wins on the trot, and they're really starting to get their season on track now. They're 9th in the Premier League, so up back into the top half where they should be, I think. And as well, I think that's where their performances deserve. I think they probably weren't getting the results their performances warranted a lot of the time earlier in the season, and now they're starting to get that. So credit to them. Liverpool still really strong at Anfield, and obviously teams, even like we've seen good teams like Aston Villa go there and Liverpool just wipe the floor with them. So I do see Liverpool coming on top. But I think Brentford at the moment playing very well, really good counter-attacking side with Wissa and Mbeumo in the forline, even more pay as well. So I see Brentford giving Liverpool a good game, but I think Liverpool just going to edge it 2-1.
Yeah, I think off the back of that result at Luton, the 1-1, I think Liverpool are going to come out with a bit of a point to prove in this game. And I think they're going to be at their firing best with Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, Jota or Gakpo, and the amazing attacking players that they do have. But Brentford on good form, so I do think they can get a goal maybe on the counter with an Mbeumo or a Wissa. But I do think it will be fairly convincing for Liverpool this weekend at Anfield. So that's why I've gone for 3-1. And we move on to the London Stadium as West Ham face Nottingham Forest. Sim's gone for 1-1 in this game. I've gone for West Ham to sneak it 2-1. Nottingham Forest, ended that really bad run with a nice win last weekend. West Ham as well themselves are on a bad run and can't seem to be getting consistent results at the moment. But I feel like it could be a little bit of a turn for the form books for West Ham in this game, where they just need to get back to basics and need to start winning games again. And I think with the attacking talent that they do have with Jarrod Bowen and Mohamed Kudus both playing really well at the moment, with West Ham not really getting results, I think it can change this weekend against a Nottingham Forest side which West Ham know they can beat. So I'm going for 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going for 1-1. I think obviously West Ham got an important game midweek in the Europa League. So I think a lot of attention is going to be on that. We'll have to wait and see what the fallout in terms of team selection is from that. But I think that home to a Nottingham Forest team who've only lost 1 in their last 5, I think they're quite good at frustrating oppositions. And Steve Cooper's got them really well organised, well drilled. And I think West Ham right now aren't in the best of form, obviously, in the league. 3 losses in a row, no win in 4. And I don't think, I can see them obviously causing Forest a lot of trouble, but I don't think they're going to be able to play like free-flowing football to open them up. It's going to be a lot from set pieces and trying to cause problems from getting in behind. And I think Forest are going to restrict them from those opportunities, to be honest. So I just see a very close, hard-fought game, but I just see a 1-1 draw.
And a big one this weekend, Chelsea against Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. Sim's gone for a draw here, 2-2, a Desmond.
I think, what's it called, Chelsea obviously got the great win at Tottenham last week, and albeit they didn't maybe have the best of games, but we've seen at Stamford Bridge this season when good teams have come there, they played a very, very fast, very aggressive, very intense way that Pochettino likes to play with at their very best. And I can see actually them, because what Man City like is control and they like patience, and I can see Chelsea with the way they play causing a bit of chaos in that system and causing some trouble. But once the game settles down and once Man City do gain control of the game, I can see them scoring past this Chelsea team, who I don't think the best at the back, even though defensively they've been okay, but I can see definitely City opening them up. But I can actually see Chelsea causing some chaos in that Man City backline as well with their intense pressing, and I can see them getting opportunities, and I've gone for a 2-2 draw.
Look, I can see them getting opportunities in the first half, but it just depends if they take them or not. Chelsea, it's been the same old story all season pretty much, where they've played really well in the first half, not so well in the second half, and I think in the second half is when Man City are really going to come out on top and teach them a bit of a lesson in that second half. But look, since Rodri's been back for Man City, they've won every single game. They're playing really well at the moment. Jeremy Doku from last game is on firing form, and I just can't see anything but a Manchester City winning this game. So I've gone for 2-0 to Man City at Stamford Bridge. And as well, Chelsea are not exactly got the best run of form at Stamford Bridge this season. So let's move on to the star men, and let's see who we've got. Sim's gone for Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno, yeah, home to Luton. I think he's going to want to have a point to prove, being the captain of the team. He's going to want to show home to Luton that they can get back to winning ways and show the fans they're still fighting for this manager. Albeit, again, as I say, they could win this game and then they could lose the next game and they're back to square one. So I don't think it changes much. But I think for this game, I can see him being in good form. And as well, I wouldn't be surprised if Man United get a penalty or two, and I think Bruno will be on it. So I've gone for Bruno.
Yeah, I've gone for Evan Ferguson, a tiny bit of a risk because he doesn't play every single game. But with 5 goals this season in the Brighton colours, at home to Sheffield United this weekend, I think I went for a 3-0 win to Brighton, and I think Evan Ferguson should be good for a goal or two in this game. I really believe in his talent. I think he's a top player, and definitely going to be a top player at the young age of 18. So yeah, I've gone for Evan Ferguson as my star man. Sim's gone for Bruno Fernandes. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your predictions this weekend? Who is your star man for this weekend, and who do you think is going to come out on top, me or Sim, this weekend? Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.